We've learned quite a bit so far, so let's go over everything and make sure we understand it all. So I have this program right here which sort of samples everything that we've learned, and this is what it looks like. It's a cube spinning in 3D because we love spinning things so much. We keep on using them. And let's take a look at the source code to see how everything works. I'm just going to run through all of this and review it. So here are our include files for OpenGL, and here's an include file for OpenGL, and this is the same as in the texture lesson. Then we have our init rendering function, which initializes the rendering parameters. We have enable GL depth tests, which we always have in our programs. Then we enable lighting and enable light source number 0. Then we enable GL normalize, which we'll always do when we're using lighting. Which is called whenever the window is resized, and the draw scene function, which actually draws our cube. So the first thing we do is we move forward by 20 units, then we set up the ambient light, which is shining everywhere on the scene with an intensity of 0.3. Then we have our now we rotate by the opposite of the angle, and then we're drawing the 6 faces of the cube. So we call GL begin GL quads to start drawing quadrilaterals, and we call GL color 3F because the top face is a colored face. So we call GL normal 3F to give the normal vector, the vector perpendicular to the face, and then we specify the 4 coordinates of the face. And we have the bottom face, which is another colored face, and we have the left face, which is colored also, but it uses color blending. So we have 2 calls to GL color 3F. This one sets the color for the first 2 vertices, and this call sets the color for the next 2 vertices. Then we have the face on the right side, which also uses blending, and a call to GL end. And then we call GL enable GL texture 2D to enable textures, and we call GL bind texture to tell it that we want to apply this texture, the texture with ID, with this particular ID, to whatever polygons we're going to be drawing. And these function calls have to be so that we're not using any kind of color filtering. The texture just looks normal. We call GL begin GL quads again, and we're drawing the front and the back faces of the cube. And we need these calls to GL text coord 2F to indicate the texture coordinates of each vertex of the different faces. So that's what these calls are. So we have the front face, the back face, GL end, and then we disable texturing so that subsequently we'll just have colored materials or colored faces rather than painting images on top of the faces. Then glut swap buffers to set to take control of the program, and our last line in the main function is return 0. That code brings about this program right here. And that's a quick review of everything we've learned so far, the basics of OpenGL.